Session. I'm your host, Brian Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny. I hope everybody's doing well today on this beautiful Wednesday morning. As always, let's turn off all distractions. Grab a pen and paper. Let's take lots of notes. And let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. Excuse me. So, got a bit to catch up on from yesterday, right? We said we were waiting on some data to come in, and we got it. So, we want to make sure that we take massive action every day. And action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, centering yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trusting your education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So make sure we're centered, we're focused, and we're ready to go. And before we actually dive into the fundamentals, I want to take a second and send a huge shout out to Donette for getting through the first phase of her challenge. Well, through the second phase of her challenge. So kudos to you, Donette, making your way through prop firm challenges to get that funding. So drop some sevens in the chat for Donette. Kudos to you. It's a beautiful thing, right? We're excited for your growth, excited for where you are, and looking forward to seeing the continued progress. So awesome, awesome. Appreciate you sharing the results with us. All right, so let's hop over to Forex Factory. Forex Factory, we're going to take a look at fundamentals. Yesterday, right, Benny mentioned we're waiting on Aussie data, right? Waiting on Aussie data. And actually, before I do that, Donette, are you able to speak?
Yeah.
How was it making it through the first phase of that
Yeah.
challenge? Tell us your experience.
I think I started like August of last year.
Okay.
Um, the last 2000, I was really anxious and I wanted to like get through it.
Yeah.
And it took me the longest. Like even the last 1000, I was like back and forth. I was like, man. And then last night bye honey. Last night I just set it and forget it. So it was just one of those things that I think, you just have to let the trade play out and just set it and leave it. And I woke up very happy because I was like, I just need to get it done. I just need to get it done. Like I was so excited. Like, but you just have to, continue to push past those fears of getting through it and just let it be. Like, you just have to let it go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So managing that mental process, right? Controlling
Mhm.
yourself as you're going through that experience, the excitement, the anxiety of getting there, right?
Yeah, I was
What?
down. I was a $200 yesterday to go.
Uh-huh.
And I got into a NAS trade. I was like, okay, I put a 0.25 in it just to, speed it up a little bit. And then NAS reversed. I was like, no. Oh my gosh. So,
hmm
you just have to not rush the process and just let it be.
Yeah,
When it gets there, it gets there, So that was my learning, my takeaway from going through the challenge. Just, set your parameters, let it be, let the trade just play out. So
let the trade play out. Patience pays.
yeah.
Personal experience with that quote. I
Yes.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it. Well, kudos to you, done that. We're super proud of you. Like I said, we're excited about what's ahead for you. So it's a beautiful thing. We appreciate you
Thank
for
you.
sharing. All right. Now let's hop over to Forex Factory. And so we got durable goods orders. It came in yesterday for the dollar below expectation, right? Um, mm, mm, mm. Then we had consumer confidence also came in below expectation, right? Um, then we get to the Aussie CPI data below expectation, right? And Benny mentioned yesterday morning we're interested to see how that data came out and what it looked like, right? And it came in below expectation, and the trades that we were in got a little boost, right? Then we move on to the cash rate for the New Zealand dollar, and they held the rate, which was expected, right? But in the statement, they talked about uh they talked about uh mm, 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 what was the statement here? It was core inflation and inflation expectations had declined, and the risks to the inflation outlook had become more balanced, right? The board was aware that headline inflation remains above target um, of the 1 to 3% level. The committee viewed the rate needed to stay at a restricted level for some time, despite slightly lowering its projections for the cash rate peak to 5.6 from an earlier estimate of 5.7. So they were talking about the potential for having to increase again, and it looks like that may not. It's still a chance for it to happen. 1%, a 1% increase, but um, there's more of a dovish tone to the conversation, right? So that sent the New Zealand dollar in the direction, right? And those New Zealand pairs that we were trading also got a boost. So we'll take a look at those as well, um, and see how those are moving. All right. So today we have a preliminary GDP quarter over quarter. Preliminary GDP quarter over quarter coming in at 8:30. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. Those G20 meetings kick off today. We got members that'll be speaking. You got Governor Orr speaking as well from Reserve Bank of New Zealand. And then tonight we got retail sales for Japan, industrial production month over month for Japan, business confidence for New Zealand, and retail sales month over month for Australia. So got some more data to come in. And then midnight, we got core CPI for Japan, right? So got some data coming in, especially in the evening, that could definitely move things around a bit. All right. So that's that. Over to trade and economics. Eurozone economic sentiment unexpectedly weakens. Economic sentiment indicator in the euro area declined for a second straight month to 95.4 in February, falling short of the market expectation of 96.7. Confidence deteriorated among manufacturers and service providers, retailers, and constructors amidst still high inflation, rising borrowing costs, and weak external demand. Right. So we'll watch the Aussie, I mean not the Aussie, but the euro, and see how this impacts pullbacks, potential setting up for continuations. You have Brent oil eases from recent highs. Then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's where we are from fundamental perspective. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Ryan, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. Dealing with the power stuff back and forth.
Yeah.
So the storms were pretty strong. So, but that's nothing. Congratulations, Donette. That's
Yes, sir.
that's the big deal right now. That's the big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Super proud, man. Patience pays, and the power of risk management, right? So you can get through all those those downs so until you get to the ups. That's the big deal with those things. So congratulations again. Super proud of you. You've been working at it for quite some time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But nothing for me this morning fundamentally, man, outside of what you covered. We were waiting on that data yesterday, and like you said, it gave us a boost to some of our trades, right? We were headed in the right direction on those. So that's always a good thing when the fundamentals can accelerate your trade idea. So definitely happy about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely accelerated the trade ideas. Cool deal, man. So let's hop over and let's take a look at some things. We'll take a quick peek at the dollar, and we see dollar is on the rise. We're pulling back right now, but we got to push out of that zone, pushing to the upside. So looking at a potential C to D move on the DXY headed long. Okay. Um, which means strength for dollar pairs. So we'll watch this and see how this goes um, as price continues to trek along. Okay. Um, and we'll see how these conversations, the G20 meetings, and the individuals coming to the microphone to see what they have to say regarding inflation and the outlook to see if it will be more of a hawkish or dovish tone. So we'll watch that from that perspective. There is a potential, right? Um, just keeping this in the back of my mind for a crown pattern here. So gonna just keep this in the back of my mind, right? Um, so we don't rule it out that the dollar could come back down to the downside. We got a lot of folks coming to the microphone, a lot of things to be seen yet. So just have that precaution sit on the backside, make sure that we're looking at both sides of the equation and managing our risk accordingly, right? For trading those dollar pairs. Okay, so that's the DXY. Um, any questions there? No?
No.
All right, cool deal. I want to take a look real quick at Bitcoin as it went on a tear yesterday, right? But pushed right into this 118, 127 zone on the 1 hour, right? Created a swing high there. So we got an 80-20 on Bitcoin, looking for a retracement back down to the downside, right? So keep your eyes on that one if you trade Bitcoin. If we come back to the daily time frame, we also have right? An 80-20 scenario here as well, right? Didn't get to the D extension, ran into this daily resistance. Okay, shallow retracement 118, 127 zone. So daily 80-20 and 1 hour 80-20. We come down to the 4 and scroll back. Boom. Right. We hit a 4 hour D extension and price just continued to rise. All right. So we'll get a new AB boundary that pops. Actually, no, it took out the A there. I'm sorry. There we go. 80-20 on the 4 as well. My apologies there. We took out the A, so we got to make that new set. So we got 80-20 on the daily, on the 4, and on the 1 hour, right? All in line with this daily resistance here. So potential for reversal on Bitcoin. So keep your eyes peeled there, right? Add your additional confirmations, wait for the rules to be met, and then pull the trigger on. All right. Questions on Bitcoin? No. All right.
I was happy to see that yesterday. I was like,
Yeah,
oh my
happy to.
gosh, it's there.
It finally made it up there.
Wow, that's
Finally
crazy.
made it up there. Yep, yep, yep. So, yeah. So we'll watch and see if we get that reversal to happen. Right, got some confluence in all time frames. So, be a nice little position there. Okay. Hmm. There we go. Like so. All right. Cool deal. So that's the Bitcoin. Let's I got on my list here. Let's run through these New Zealand pairs real quick. Starting with the pound NZD. We'll come here and then we'll go look at New Zealand, Swiss, New Zealand CAD, New Zealand dollar. But at pound NZD, we're looking at the move here, right? It had the nice swing to the upside. We said we might have the opportunity for an 80-20 reversal. I'm sorry, just a retracement here, and then a continuation to the upside. Didn't get a retracement much at all, just moved sideways. And then when the news came, pushed to the upside. Boom. Right. So that's that New Zealand dollar news. Now there is potential for a pullback here, right? We know the market likes to take back portions of these moves. So beware for a pullback, and then we'll look for continuations to the upside. Boom. Okay. So that was the move there. If we zoom out, look at the bigger picture, come back to the 4. Boom. There's our 4-hour fib. It was 80-20 here on the 4, right? Potential for a pullback, but we're going to get to that D extension likely, right? Without a deeper pullback here into the zone. Okay. Without a deeper pullback into the zone. So there we are there. So we'll look for that 118 level, right? 208.62 be achieved. And then we'll look to see what happens from there. Okay. All right, cool deal. Questions on that pound NZD? All right, continue to move in the direction. Okay. Continue to move, and it's important, right? Got some message yesterday regarding this pair. Right? It's important to do that top-down analysis, right? Seeing it from higher time frames down so that you can see the overall direction, right? And then having that understanding from a fundamental perspective to be able to add that to your overall bias, right? Some folks were short on the lower time frames, and yeah, you had your 80-20 opportunities here, right? Just as you do here, but you just got to be aware, right? Be aware of what's happening and what's coming. And understand what the fundamental bias is, especially on these lower time frames where you can get taken out pretty quickly here, right? It did range in the zone, but then took off to the upside, right? So if you met your rules, trade it, right? Manage your risk, and it's just one of the trades that you lose. We know in the lower time frames you can have a lower strike rate than on the higher time frame. So this is one of those scenarios if you're trading on the 15-minute time frame and you didn't get the pullback, right? You didn't get the pullback, price pushed to the D extension and continue running along. Now, got another opportunity here on the 15-minute, 80-20 scenario, push to that 118 level. So maybe we get the retracement here, take back a portion of that bullish action, and then we'll look for a low price to get long. Okay? Questions? Well, give me 1 second, everybody. Bad. I had to check on this dog. He's full of energy this morning, all over the place. So, uh, but that's the pound NZD. Let's go over to New Zealand pairs, New Zealand Swissy. Long term, right? We got an 80-20 scenario here on the daily time frame. Been trying to make our way to the upside, right? But we run into some challenge here. Okay, daily resistance, we broke that level as well, and we're pulling back, which makes sense, right? Pulling back. So let's see how deep this retracement comes. See how deep this retracement comes against the Swissy, and see if we get a reversal at some point and move back to the upside. Okay, so we'll watch this one closely here. Move that down to daily support. All right, we'll watch this closely here to see what this retracement looks like. See if we come back into the zone and get another opportunity to push back to the top side after getting to the bottom of the range there. Right, so that's the 80-20 on the daily time frame. Coming down to the 4. It's just a bunch of consolidation here on the 4. Okay. All right, just a bunch of consolidation here on the 4. Okay. So just bounced around across the middle of your screen on the 4-hour time frame. You see the retracement there. We come down to the 1. We'll be able to look at that move, which is here. Boom. So early, we're late yesterday, right? Just push to that 118 level, and you got the reversal back down to the downside, right? So there's the pullback there. Looks like we took out the A, so we can run a sub fib to the downside there. Boom. And there we are, coming back down to the downside on this NZD Swissy. Let's watch this to see if we push into the zone and stall, or if we push deeper and just get straight to the D extension. So we'll watch this, potentially maybe even we get the 80-20 scenario, right? We take back a portion of that bearish move, get a high price, and then get back short for a little bit, right? So potential for that type of action there on the 1-hour time frame. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled there. Questions on the New Zealand Swissy? Nope. All right,
Good.
cool deal. The NZD CAD. All right, Benny talked about this on Saturday. High price looking to get short. Was it on the 4? It was on the 4. There we go. Let me take all this other stuff off. There we go. All right. Beautiful 80-20 swing here that took its time, pushed deep into the zone, did not take out the A, got the consolidation at the 8-6 level, boom, breakdown, right? So now look for a pullback, and then a continuation to the downside, all right? Make our way back to that 118 level at the bottom of the range there, all right? And you see overall, just range bound, top of the range, coming back down, all right? So we'll look to see here as well what happens with the New Zealand dollar and what happens to the Canadian dollar as well, right? To see how deep this may go. We may just get back to the matching D extension as daily support, and then we might see another bounce back to the upside, right? So we'll play what we see. And that's the move to the downside there. So we'll look for a pullback and a continuation short here. All right. So that's what we're looking at there on the New Zealand CAD. Coming down to the 1. Run your fib off the high, and you got an AB boundary there, right? So just look for a high price on the 1 hour, and then look for the opportunity to get back short there. All right. Questions on the New Zealand CAD? Nope. All right.
Oh,
NZD, appreciate it. NZD dollar. There's that crown pattern, Benny. Boom. crown pattern. 1 hour. We'll come back. Daily time frame. Look at it. Pull these smaller fibs out. There we go. All right. So crown pattern, full effect, turnover, boom. Right. Same thing. We'll look for a pullback and continuation short here. All right. But crown pattern is on the way. So we had an 80-20 scenario that pushed us down, took out the previous low, pulled back, right? Foresee the right tip, turnover, breakdown, right? So we're headed to the downside here against the dollar. Coming to the 4. Right? And there it is. Pushed up, didn't get to the D extension, came back down, pulled back. Now as we come down to the 1, look at this last leg to the upside. Boom. 80-20 scenario giving us that right shoulder. Shallow retracement 118, 127. That was Thursday. Friday, Sunday, we started to break down. Got a pullback, continued to the downside. It's a beautiful game. Beautiful game. So now we can run the sub fib off the high, and here you go. And here you go, right? We're looking for those pullbacks and continuations, right? So would love to see one more push down into that 118, 127 zone, and then retracement, right? And then give us a high price to get back short and play this crown pattern to the downside. You guys seeing that? All right. That's how it all comes together. All right. Reversal pattern on the higher time frame, 80-20 leading us right into it. All right. Questions on the New Zealand dollar.
No.
Nope. All right. All right. Cool deal. So those are New Zealand pairs. We did that. What's it got on the list here? Bitcoin, pound NZD, Euro NZD. Euro NZD. See where we are here. Strong push to the upside, boom. Right now we come into a level of previous daily resistance, right? We'll see if we get a reaction, pull back, continuation, right? Come down to the 4. All right, there's our move. 786 retracement. We got the catalyst to the upside, right? And this level actually may not stand. Let me go back here. Whoops. Didn't want to do that. Daily. Yeah, I'm going to pull this level out because it got broken multiple times. So that level's no longer valid. So there we go there. So we'll pull that out in the lower time frames as well. Right. We may still get a retracement, but that's cool. But we're running to the upside. Okay. Running to the upside. So we'll look for pullbacks and continuations on these. And we'll see what that looks like on the lower time frame. All right. But to make our way to matching the extension, the 127 level. All right. So it's on the go. It is on the go. We're coming down to the 1. This is what we look like. All right. Even on the 1 hour, we had 80-20 on this reversal. Boom. Take off to the upside. Pull back. 618 retracement. Take off. So now same thing. Look for a pullback and a continuation. pull back into the sweet spot, continuation long. All right. So for those looking to trade with the trend, here you go. Wait for the low price. Wait for the low price, and then look to get bullish on that. All right. That's the Euro NZD. This has been a beautiful move, man. A beautiful move. So now we just got to be patient and allow price to do its thing. All right, just off the 1 hour, that's 287 pips with some room to still run. Okay. Overall, this one has the potential. It's 1,000 pips to the upside. Make it to that D extension. 1,181. All right. So let's continue to monitor that. Questions on the Euro NZD? Yeah. Yeah. The moves are powerful. They are powerful, but it's all about us, like you said, Donna, being patient. Being patient and allowing the trades to play out. Right? Allowing the trades to play out. We've seen it time and time again with the yens with other pairs, right? If we just sit still, like pound Aussie, last year, middle of last year, right? Moved over 1,000 pips. We just got to sit and be patient. The yens on some retracements easily move 1,000 pips. Just got to be patient and allow the trades to run, right? We got to get out of our own way. Get out of our own way and allow the price action to do what it does. All right. So that's the Euro NZD. Pound Aussie I got on my list. Let's take a look at it. Running to the upside. All right. So we have broken these daily levels here. Came back and retested twice. And now we're pushing back to the top, right? We're headed back to 195, 287. Okay. Coming down to the 4, we had a deep retracement, 8-6 level. And on our sub fib, smaller wave to the downside, shallow retracement, 118, 127. Catalyst got that thing to continue moving along. Boom. All right. So we're looking for price to continue moving along, matching the extension of 195,904. Okay. So on the go. So now we come down to lower time frames. Potential for a pullback here, but use additional confirmation, right? Use additional confirmation because this could just continue running long, get to the D extension and that daily resistance level. Okay. So trend lines, cloud breaks, all of that, right? Looking for confirmation on the move back down if we're to get it here. Okay. But you got an 80-20 scenario there if we get the additional confirmation. Okay. Questions on the pound Aussie? Nope. All right. Cool deal. Off the 80-20 on this one on the 1 hour. Look at it, right? Shallow retracement, 118 to 127 zone. 250 pips. That was an 80-20 into that move. All right. Beautiful. Cool. So that's the pound Aussie. Let's take a look at these Aussie pairs. Starting with the Aussie New Zealand. We got the takeoff there too, right? So here on the daily, talked about it yesterday, we pushed down to that level and looking for a reversal. Look at it. Strong action to the upside. Coming down to our 4, right? We're just bouncing back and forth. Move along. See the morning star pattern, decision, indecision, decision. Now just look for a pullback and a continuation. Coming down to the 1. Bingo. 80-20 scenario. Right? Yesterday we were watching this one. We were in this range here. Got a little bit more of a pullback. Price turned over. Take off. So now, let's look for this pullback. Give you another opportunity, right? It's going to pull right back into that 118, 127 zone. And then see if we get confirmation of a continuation to the upside. Beautiful game, beautiful game, beautiful game. But it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Right? So now you come down to the 50 or the 30 or the 15, right? There's your 30-minute, right? And another push down. Can price come back down into our sweet spot? So we'll sit and be patient and look for price to come here. And then if it does, boom. Another leg to the upside. So let's watch for these retracements, right? On these New Zealand pairs, let's watch for the retracements and then look for some confirmation on the continuations. Traded on the 15. Same thing on the 15. Boom. Same thing. Questions on the Aussies in New Zealand? Was anybody able to take this trade yesterday? This is the one that stood out to me that we talked about. That was in the zone. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Great work. Great work. All right. Now, ooh, the Aussie dollar. Crown pattern. Boom. We just talked about it. All right. We said maybe we get another push up to give us a deep crown, or maybe not. And we keep this shallow crown to the downside. Price turned over in a strong way. Came back below 65,424. We're headed south. All right. We already got an 8-6 retracement. Price has already been moving to the downside anyway. All right. For anybody that is still trading this to the downside, Benny's been talking about this one for a long time. So, boom. So lower time frames, same thing. For a pullback and a continuation short. Now we come down to the 4. There's the breakdown there. Boom. Coming down to our 1. Yeah. Deep retracement. 786 level. Boom. All within the framework. 2 spots that we trade. Bingo. All right. Like I said, now pullback and continuation. So we'll come down to the 15. We'll run the fib off the high. See the A boundary got taken out there. Run the fib off the high. Boom. For a high price to get back short. What we're looking for. Questions on the Aussie dollar? That one is on the go, on the go, on the go.
No.
Oh, all right. Cool deal. And then this Aussie Swissy. That's the 1 hour setup. Beautiful, right? We said, let's see if we got you at 382. We got a pullback. We said, let's see if we can get some more downward action. The news was a catalyst to give it to us. 72 pips to the downside. Same thing. Same thing over and over and over again. Don't have to be fancy. Don't have to have a ton of stuff on your chart. Benny talked about it on Saturday. We talked about just keeping it simple, right? Just keeping it simple. The methodology is laid out in a specific way to simplify the process. Trading overall is relatively simple. We make it complex, right? Because the market moves up, down, and sideways. That's it. We make it complex with our thoughts and our emotions that then complicates the whole situation, right? But the Fibonacci sequence support resistance trend lines streamlines the process for us. And we look for specific things over and over and over again. Great work, Donette. Held the trade till today. Beautiful. Through 2 TPs and continuing to the downside. Beautiful. Add to the account and let the rest run. Great trade management. Great trade management. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. Once we can get out of our own way, everything opens up. The floodgates open. And the same thing is in life, man. Once we get out of our own way, once we learn how to manage our emotions, once we understand who we are and how we were created, right? Floodgates open. Opportunities present themselves. But we got to do the work on the charts and internally to put ourselves in position for that. Questions on the Aussie Swiss? Nope. All right. Take a quick look at the Euro CAD. And then that's all I have. So if you guys have any pairs that are top of mind for you, Euro CAD will get another push long, right? Got that deep retracement on the 1 hour. We're making our way to the D extension. We got some consolidation and now we're pushing. Right, headed to 147, 162. So that's on the go. Here's our larger fib here. Boom. Beautiful. Beautiful swing. 152 off the entry of 145, 355. Internal work is it's definitely a challenge, right? It's definitely a challenge. But I heard this quote. It said, how did it go? I want to say it was like, life is the game and love is the lesson. Or life is school and love is the lesson, right? Learning to love ourselves, love the process of growth, love the process of experience. And once we get there, it's a game changer. But the process of growth, the process of development, right? Looking at every experience as an opportunity to grow and not looking at it from a perspective of, I have to do this, but I get to do this. I get to learn about myself. I get to challenge my mind. I get to build relationships. I get to learn patience. Changing that word from have to get changes the whole perspective of the statement. We get an opportunity every day to challenge ourselves to grow. We get an opportunity every day to experience new things, to build new relationships, to see the world from a different perspective. All so that we can develop and become the person that we've been designed to be. We get to. We get to. NASDAQ 100 on the 30-minute time frame. Let's take a look at it. Bitcoin trying to make that move. $30-minute. Let's see. Boom. 80-20 to the downside, 50% retracement, trying to pull back. All right. So that's on a 30-minute. See if we get a push long here. Let's come back higher time frame and walk down. All-time highs. Boom. Weekly time frame. 80-20. Shallow retracement 118, 127 zone. We'll see what happens here. It'll be interesting. We get dollar strength. We could see stock market start to pull back some. Come down. Clear these out. We'll come back to them. Boom. Daily time frame 80-20. Shallow retracement 118, 127 zone. There's your consolidation. All right. So Donet's trading within this candle right here on the daily time frame. All right. Come down to the 4. 80-20 scenario on the 4. So monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, we got 80-20 scenarios. So let's watch to see how things transpire from a higher time frame perspective. Okay. Now we come down to the 1. Let's zoom all the way back on this. Add smaller fibs on it. Let's look at these here. To the upside. Boom. So we got a 618 retracement, push back to the top. Now we're turning back over. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, right? Depending on how the data comes out. How the data comes out, right? throughout the week what the conversations are like from these FOMC representatives. Do we get prices start to make its way back down to the downside? You see the dollar rise, stock market start to fall. Watch and see.
So Brian, from the lower time frame, you would monitor it by looking at structure and see if it's making lower lows.
Yeah, I definitely would. Go back. So I do have to update this with resistance levels and such. So here on the daily time frame, we got daily resistance there. And then we got support here. Boom. Right. And then we could potentially even bounce in this range for a bit, right? And so we'll see what happens there. But yes, I would like to see if price does turn over on the lower time frame and make its way back down, right? It's a little higher than a double top, but it's trying to push back down to the downside there. Right. So if we're able to, which it already is trying to do, right? Because this was the range that it was in. Right. It's trying to break out of the range. So it's pulling back now. So how deep does this pullback come? Do come back to the top of the range? If that happens, then you could have potentially, right, a lower risk short opportunity, stop above the high there, right, and play top of the range to the bottom if you trade ranges like that. But yeah, so we're range bound right now. I need to break out in one direction to the other. Ultimately, is what it comes down to, right? Be it to the top side or to the bottom, and we need a fundamental catalyst to do it. So there's your sub fib to the upside off that C, and you got an 80-20 scenario there. So that could also be some additional confirmation. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, yeah, it's tough. Because it's mixed. It's mixed. It's mixed. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of news this week, so hopefully.
Yep. Yep. And a lot of speakers too, right? So just look for that catalyst, right? One of either the data or one of the speakers to say something that moves the market, right? And then we can watch the DXY to see where the dollar pushes, and we could see stock market push in the opposite direction. All right, so that was a little bit tough on the lower time frames. On the higher time frames, it's an 80-20 longer term swing. So depending on how you want to play it there. Yeah, but I would definitely look for a fundamental catalyst and look for price to break out of this range. It's trying to make those lower highs and lower lows, but I need something convincing to the downside.
Appreciate
Yep,
it.
yep. Absolutely. All right. And again, you could also trade this 80-20 off the sub fib there. Right. If you wanted to play it that way and place your stop outside the D and look at it from that perspective down to that 382 there. So a couple different ways to look at it, but definitely need a catalyst at the end of the day. All right. Questions on the NASDAQ?
Hey, Ryan.
Yes, sir. What's
Yeah,
happening, James?
yeah, I'm well. How are you?
Doing well.
Great. Just in reference to the last 100, you made reference that when the dollar rises, the stock market falls. And can you clarify that for me, please?
Yeah, generally speaking, and recent times it's been a kind of a mix, but generally speaking, when the DXY, the dollar uh gains value or gains strength, right? Means the dollar's becoming more expensive, right? And if the dollar's more expensive, then you'll see capital come out of the stock market, right? Because the stock market is a riskier asset, and you'll see money go into then those safe haven currencies or safe haven assets, right? And so you see the stock market take a dip because investors are pulling their money out. So you see the stock market fall as the dollar gets more expensive, right? And then vice versa. As the dollar gets cheaper, right, or the DXY goes down, then right, dollar is cheaper, cheaper to borrow, cheaper to invest. So now you'll see more investments going to riskier assets because it's cheaper to borrow money. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And can that be linked to the risk on and risk off sentiment?
Yep, that's exactly it. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
So as the dollar becomes more expensive, right, you'll see more of a risk off scenario generally. And as the dollar is cheaper, you'll be more in a risk on scenario. All right. Any other questions? No? All right.
Hey Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's true too. Does everything you're saying is true because when you take a stuff when you look at a lot of U.S. public companies, you tend to see that stock drop because they're global too, right? So you have, I think it's like between 35 and 40%, companies on the S&P, they have earnings that come from outside the United States. So that dollar strength puts a lot of pressure, you know, on foreign currencies, right? Especially
Mm-hmm.
the dollar is pegged to. So you actually have it where, some of the US based public companies, become worth less than they did before the dollar move to the upside.
Say that last statement one more time.
So when you have US based public companies who earn, revenue outside of the United States, that company, if that dollar continues to gain strength, that company's value actually becomes worth less than it did
Ah,
before the dollar moved, right? It has a global impact, right? Because the dollar is the world's reserve currency. So that's another reason why as well.
gotcha.
It's because the actual value of that company, can decrease too with the strong dollar, especially when that company earns, a significant amount of income from outside the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So just another angle too. In addition to what you said. So
Well, that makes sense.
mhm.
That makes sense. All right. Quick look at the Euro GBP, and then we will wrap things up there. Overall, on the Euro GBP daily time frame, we're trapped in this range. Boom. Out. You're welcome, Jeremy. Shift that down. Coming down to the 4. Got a 618 retracement. Push down, pull back. Let's see what happens here. Does this turn over and continue moving to the downside? All right. I haven't taken back any of the strong bullish action yet. So maybe we'll get a retracement here, come back to the lows, and then push top side. So let's watch that there. Coming down to the 1. Boom. 786 retracement. Price is trying to turn over, push back down. So a little bit mixed, but this will be interesting to see what happens between the euro and the pound. We broke the trend line to the upside, deep retracement. Now we're trying to turn over, push back down. So if we break back below, this is the previous resistance level. But if we're able to break down, right, and break this low, and I'm looking for price to come back down at least 84,967, and then see if we're able to break that to continue lower. This previous 80-20 didn't play out, push to the extension, new AB boundary. So we're headed south, right? So pull back, high price, look for price to continue down, and then we'll see if we're able to break these support levels here. So I'm looking short here on this. Like I said, at least to these support levels, and then we'll see if we're able to break those to continue moving down. Then it's just choppy on the one. Yeah, that one's kind of doing the Euro GBP thing, right? If you look at it from a weekly time frame perspective, look at that. So yeah, a little bit mixed. If I was trading this one, I'd be trading off the 4, and I'd be looking short here. But overall, fundamentally, kind of bullish on both, but bullish on the pound, and then technically, with price being in this range, I'd be looking short. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Got data for Euro tomorrow. Yeah, that one's tough, but I'm slightly bearish on that. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Joy?
I don't know.
Yep.
But I got my stop in place. It looked like it was trying to find support on the 15. And then I was looking at my 4 hours. So I was waiting for the 4 hour to push up before going into the sell. So I was hoping to get to the D spot, if not a little bit higher than where that high is at before taking the sell.
Okay. I dig it. I dig it. Let's watch and see. Let's watch and see. All right. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. Great session as always, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Good people. Good people. Appreciate you guys showing up for yourself every day, man. We appreciate that. All right. Dinette's showing us, right? Patience pays. Put in the work. Take one step at a time. Anything's possible. All right. So find your 1% today. You guys have a phenomenal Wednesday. And we'll talk tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with my awesome partner, Mr. Ben Allen. Till then, peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.